Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica, especially regarding Tropical Storm Melissa. It is early Thursday morning, October 23, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so taking a look at the latest here, the 7-day graphical tropical weather look from the Hurricane Center. We still have Tropical Storm Melissa right here to the southeast of Jamaica. And if we take a look at the infrared, we can see the clouds, the showers, and the thunderstorms associated with her. We see how huge she is as we speak, extending from the northeastern coast of Colombia, the northwestern coast of Venezuela down here, right here, still affecting the ABC Islands. We see her moisture still affecting Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and we were definitely getting on some of the moisture all night into early this morning, and she's right down in here as we speak. So she's definitely a bit too close for comfort, and you know, there's a lot of convection associated with this system, even although it is still being sheared somewhat, that upper level wind shear blowing those cloud tops off in a kind of northeasterly fashion. But expect some decent rain from her today. And the Euro ensemble spaghetti model plot still taking the system on a west-northwestward track for the most part, and then curving it off towards the northeast. GFS is starting to do something similar, even although we still have a lot of the models from the GFS taking it across Hispaniola. Boy, even the intensity guidance doesn't look good right now. Many of the models taking it up to hurricane status within the next 2 days, taking it even up to major hurricane status of category 3 or higher within the next 3 to 4, maybe even 5 days. So we definitely have to stay updated. So regarding the latest here from the Hurricane Center, the 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time update, which is actually the 4 a.m. update. So that just came out an hour and a half ago, and as you can see here, as of the latest update, it is now moving towards the west northwest at 3 miles per hour. So it increased just a tad. Yesterday it was down to 1 mile per hour, then it came back up to 2 miles per hour last night. Now it's back up to 3 miles per hour, so it's picking up speed. And as you can see here, the track is back on threading or tracing the line right here, the 75 degree is west line, and we see the cone of uncertainty, all of this white shade. So we know that it might not necessarily track directly on what we see here with all of the S's and the H's. And by the way, you know, the H's represents hurricane status, the M's represent a major hurricane status. As of right now, the system is packing 50 mile per hour wind, so it hasn't been strengthening much. You know that systems that pack anywhere from 39 to 73 mile per hour winds are classified as tropical storms. So it's a medium range tropical storm right now. And as stated, the center of the circulation can track anywhere along this part of the cone. So it could go more west, it could go more north, and then closer to the eastern end of Jamaica, making landfall. Any game can play when it comes to this system. And we see how large the tropical storm wind field is. That's the gold that represents that tropical storm wind of anywhere from 39 to 73 mile per hour wind. You know, tropical storm force winds can definitely cause power outages, tear down trees, you know, whatever the case may be. It could even, you know, cause roofs to be ripped off, because, you know, sometimes we can have some isolated tornadoes taking place. Yes, isolated tornadoes. Jamaica doesn't really get these, but with the right conditions, it could definitely happen. And as such, Jamaica is still under a tropical storm watch in the yellows, and Haiti is still under a hurricane watch in the pinks, and people have been wondering, the system looks like it's coming closer to Jamaica, but why is Haiti under a hurricane watch rather than Jamaica? That's because the hurricane center is being cautious. Remember, the GFS has been showing that the system should be pushing into Haiti very soon, and the Euro is the outlier that is taking the system more so towards Jamaica. You know, the hurricane center is working with an average of most of these models, and clearly the average is showing, especially what the Euro has been showing, more of a track towards Jamaica instead of what the Euro, well, instead of what the GFS has been showing. So this is the track thus far regarding the system, more of a westward track, and then more of a north, then to the west, then now it's doing that northwest to west, northwest kind of flow. And we see how far the tropical storm wind speed probabilities are extending. All of the greens into the yellows, into the oranges and reds represent anywhere from 5 all the way up to a 50, all the way up to an 80% chance of tropical storm force winds. Especially to the southeast of us, it's already there, but clearly Jamaica's chances are on the increase. We see 40, 50, 60% chances of us getting in on some strong winds, strong enough to cause power outages. So don't expect me to be online, especially if we start to get some strong winds here in my parish, St. Thomas, because you know JPS can be, and I don't blame them, because tropical storm force winds can definitely cause power outages across the island. But just know that the rainfall is what we're worrying about the most. As you can see here, even the waves are going to be ridiculous. This is as of about 2 p.m. today. So if you are fisher folk, please, and well, yeah, if you are fisher men or women who are out at sea or planning on going out today, tell them that that's a bad idea, especially if they live on the southern and eastern side of the island. So for about 2 p.m. today, we should have 1.6 meter wave height to the north of Portland, to the north of St. Ann, 1.3 meter wave height, to the north of Hanover, 1 meter wave height, to the south of Westmoreland. That's where the lowest waves are going to be. So 0.9 of a meter wave height to the south of Clarendon, 1 meter wave height, to the south of St. Thomas, that's 2.4 meter wave height. And that's because of the winds. We see more of a northeasterly flow of the wind, and clearly the strongest wind should be off to the south and the east of the island. You notice all of the wind is spinning around the center of circulation in a counterclockwise or anti-clockwise fashion. So expect that northeasterly flow today. We're expecting an onshore flow on the north coast and on the eastern side as well. We've been getting in on that rainfall last night up to this point across the northern and eastern parishes, and some of the activity has already been spilling into sections of some southern parishes, and there's more of that expected throughout the day today. So 8 knot winds right here to the north of Portland from the northeast, 11 knot winds to the north of St. Ann, 17 knot winds to the north of Hanover, but clearly the strongest wind should be to the south of St. Thomas, 23 knot wind extending over here to the south of the western peninsula of Haiti, getting up into the tropical storm force wind knot territory, so anywhere from 34 close to 64 knot winds for sure, but not necessarily close or, you know, are in and around 64, because it's definitely not up there yet to get into the category 1 hurricane status at this time. But those are the waves, those are the winds. So let us talk rainfall now and location of the system according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model run. So as of right now, the Euro model, we're looking at it right here. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here as we go to the next 168 hours. That stands for the next 7 days. And keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here. Keep your eyes also focused on Tropical Storm Melissa right here. So let us see how it's going to be playing out. So as we head throughout the day today, we see that according to the Euro, it's definitely pushing closer to us. So by 18th on Thursday, that's 1 p.m. We see it right here. A lot of moisture, especially on the eastern and northern side. The greens, yellows, oranges, reds. That's a lot of moisture that's starting to push northward. Then as we head into Friday, even more so stuck in that area. So a lot of moisture still being churned up. So that's 18th on Friday. Let us see what the GFS is showing, because remember it has been showing more of a track towards Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and there we go. So this is the 0-0 run, still showing that track towards Haiti, even as we head up into the same time frame. That's 1 p.m. on Friday. That's where it's supposed to be located. As a matter of fact, I believe the 6Z run that is coming out right now, considering that the time is now 5:34 a.m. the 6Z run should be loading up as we speak, and I'm pretty sure that it is showing the same solution. The GFS is still sticking to its guns with its stubborn self, but we see time is catching up on it, because look at what it was showing for 18Z on Friday, 1 p.m. on Friday by the 0Z run. Now for the 6Z run, it's a bit south of there, so it is starting to backtrack a bit in terms of where it should have been located by 1 p.m. on Friday, but it is still sticking to its guns that is going to be hitting Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Let's see what Saturday morning looks like on the Euro. So 7 a.m. you see that it is taking more of a westward turn, but it's still too close for comfort to us as it, traverses strong tropical storm status. Then on Saturday afternoon, still right here to the south of us, and a lot of moisture still feeding into Jamaica. Saturday morning, the 0Z GFS makes landfall with the system into Haiti and Dominican Republic. Saturday afternoon, still see the system across Hispaniola. What does the 6Z run show? Saturday morning, starting to push northward into Haiti. Saturday afternoon, more than likely making landfall right there. So the GFS still being stubborn. Sunday morning on the Euro, what do we see? It's more moving to the west of us, and we see it in line with western Jamaica right there to our south. Then Sunday afternoon, more so to the west of us, and we see that it has been moving slowly, and a lot of southeasterly flow is expected, especially on the eastern side. So we're going to be getting on that moisture, especially on the south coast. There's going to be a lot of flooding taking place, and clearly the GFS is still doing its own thing, sending the system into Hispaniola and northeast of there. GFS 6Z doing something similar. Don't even want to see any more of the GFS, because the GFS is still being stubborn for sure. So we're working with what the Euro has been showing, and we know we have to work with the Euro because that's what the Hurricane Center is basically showing for the most part. More of a northern to a western track, even although there's a lot of uncertainty because of the circular look to the cone of uncertainty. But boy, if this actually verifies, and we're going on to the next one, John, 68 hours now. So we see to the southwest of us, even as we head into Monday and we head into Tuesday, still moving slowly. And we look at that is doing on Tuesday, starting to lift northward. This is what we've been talking about. The westward turn, then to the northwest. And the fact that this is within the 7-day time frame is a bit concerning, because it looks like it even made landfall across western Jamaica. And look at that, 929 millibars. We're talking about major hurricane status for western Jamaica. My goodness gracious, will that actually take place? Imagine after flooding us out, we're going to be getting a whole landfall of category 4 proportions, if not category 3 or category 5. That would just be a very bad situation for folks in western Jamaica, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, St. Elizabeth, Manchester. Those people could definitely get it the worst if this actually verifies. So hopefully, considering that there's a lot of uncertainty regarding the motion of the system from now up until early next week, hopefully this changes and it doesn't actually send the system into us as a major hurricane, because that would definitely be concerning. Either way, there's going to be a lot of rainfall over the next couple of days. This map from the Hurricane Center is showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 0Z on October 26th. And October 26th, that is around, let's see, yeah, so 0Z on October 26th is the same as from now up until 7 p.m. on Saturday. And we see the light shades of greens, we see the greens, we see the yellows, we see the gold across the island, especially the eastern end. That represents anywhere from 1 all the way up to at least 8 inches of rainfall. That's anywhere from 25 all the way up to 200 millimeters of rainfall in the east. And we know that there's going to be some amount of flash flooding. The rivers are going to be inundated. They're going to be in spate, but that is just for the next couple of days. look at what the Euro model is projecting across the island for the next 7 days. So this map from the Euro is showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Thursday, October 30. And anything from the dark reds into the purples, into the pinks, into the peaches, into the blues represents that which we see here on the key on the right. We're talking about anywhere from 2 all the way up to maybe 25 inches of rainfall or more over the next 7 days, especially if the system pushes northward slowly and pushes westward and then start to make that backtrack to the northeast. Oh my goodness, that is going to be a very bad situation. We're talking about swollen rivers, we're talking about landslides, we're talking about rock slides. People who live close to hills, get yourselves ready. Things that you've never seen happen before is definitely possible over the next week because of the amount of rainfall that is expected. People who live close to rivers, trust me, the amount of rainfall that is expected could cause the river that is near you to swell and come over into your area. It is definitely possible. We're talking about situations like what we normally see in China, the crazy landslides or the crazy biblical kind of floods. That is definitely a possibility across Jamaica because of Melissa, if the Euro model is right. So boy, we just have to hope and pray that the GFS is right and we get more of a situation where the system crosses over into Hispaniola, thus bringing most of the rainfall, as you can see here, across Hispaniola. Like, it's not like we're wishing it on them, but if we actually get what the Euro is showing, and the Euro is usually, you know, more right when it comes to these tropical systems, we're going to be in for a very bad situation. I mean, I have never seen a close-up of Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation looking like this over the next 7 days, over a 7-day time period. This is ridiculous. Look at the whites into the grays, and that is anywhere from 300 to 500 millimeters of rainfall. That is a lot of rainfall. Keep in mind that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, which would mean that 4 inches of rainfall is about the same as 100 millimeters of rainfall. Mathematicians, correct me if I'm wrong. So that would mean that we're talking about 8 for 200 millimeters, 12 for 16 millimeters, and we're talking about 20, am I right, 20 inches of rainfall or even more for these 500 millimeters of rainfall total. Look at this, we even have an isolated pocket of 1020 millimeters. Boy, this would be ridiculous. So this is what we're saying, that we're hoping that the GFS is right, takes most of the rainfall into Haiti, thus leaving us with the blues into the greens, yellows, oranges, pinks and reds across the island. That represents anywhere from let's say 5 millimeters of rainfall all the way up to the 112 millimeters of rainfall that is being projected by the GFS for especially northeastern Jamaica, St. Mary into Portland and St. Thomas. It is very concerning. Anyways, let's see what's happening across the island right now. Let us reload the very latest still image here from the Weather Nerds website. As you can see, we've been getting on some rainfall across the eastern end of the island this morning. I'm pretty sure that western parishes, people over there, Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Trelawney, Manchester, we're going to be waking up to sunny, if not partly cloudy skies. We saw that we had that rainfall in the morning, well, in the nighttime into the early morning across the eastern end. So we definitely had some rainfall last night up to this point across section of Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Anne, St. Mary. That was where the rainfall was located. And this morning we saw that we were still getting on some cloud cover, even some thunderstorms. We saw the sparkling white dots across eastern Portland into eastern St. Thomas, and there's more of that to come. But the latest still image here is showing 10:35 UTC, which is actually 5:35 a.m. Jamaica time. So this just came out 8 minutes ago, considering that it is 5:43 now. And as you can see, the clouds are actually clearing out for the most part, but don't let that fool you. It could definitely change as time goes on. Go to work at your own risk. Go to work at your own risk. As you can see, the latest Doppler radar images show the rainfall that had affected the island early this morning, but we're going to be loading up the latest one here And the latest Jamaican Doppler radar image is showing 1024Z, which is actually 524. Not seeing much rainfall across the island right now, but we see a lot of moisture to the southeast of us. A lot of moisture is definitely coming later on today. Cuban Doppler radar imagery also showing the latest. We're going up to at least 6:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 5:40 a.m. Jamaica time. So that just came out 4 minutes ago, considering that it is 5:44 a.m. now. And we see some moisture to the north of Jamaica right here. Not seeing much of anything on the southern side. Nothing really taking place now, but that could definitely change, because look at the rainfall forecast for today. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is about the same as 9 a.m. Jamaica time. And as you can see, we have the blues represent rainfall across the eastern end and the northern end, especially the eastern end for 9 a.m. So we're talking about St. Thomas, Portland, Kingston, St. Andrew, section of St. Catherine, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney getting a small amount of morning rainfall. And the Euro model is showing something similar. As a matter of fact, the Euro model is even more robust with the dark blues and the greens, even to the yellows. What does the 3 p.m. forecast Eastern Standard Time show? That's about 2 p.m. We're starting to see the rainfall across most parishes. So still getting on that rainfall for the northeastern end, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. St. Thomas getting on some of that, Kingston, St. Andrew, and sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon starting to get on some of the action. As a matter of fact, the GFS is adamant that section of Manchester, St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland will be getting on some decent afternoon rainfall. What do we see for the evening hours now? So we're heading into 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 p.m. Jamaica time. And clearly we're seeing that we're still expecting rainfall across the northern and eastern and even some south central parishes by that time. So even as we head into the early evening time period, expect more rainfall. And as such, the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here from the Euro and the GFS from now up until, let's say, the end of the day on Thursday are showing the rainfall totals anywhere from the greens into the yellows, oranges, reds, dark reds into pinks, purples, especially across the eastern end, heading up to the 4.48 inches of rainfall range in Portland, 3.62 inches of rainfall range in St. Thomas. GFS showing the most rainfall as well across the far eastern end. So this is just the beginning. A lot of rainfall expected. So if you're going out today, make sure that you take the necessary precautions. Walk with your rain gauge, umbrella, raincoat. If you come upon flooded roadways, if you're in a taxi, if you're in a bus, don't chance it, especially if you're in that taxi. Come out. You don't want to be caught up in a flash flood at all. We don't want to hear of any deaths or anything like that going on. Alright, so that's it for now. Expect a video later this evening. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to try to go live today on our YouTube page, maybe even our TikTok page throughout the day today. So stay tuned.